4 radio stations in one great app. MCBN Media Group app is a must-have app for all global Pinoys who love music. Free to download. Pinoy Radio, today's best Filipino music, plays the latest pop music with a mix of good old throwback OPM hits. Crossway, the right hit music mix. America's Top 40 CHR Internet Radio slides back from the 90s and 2000s playlist. And today, Jeepney Pinoy Radio. Tara, sakay na! Let's rock and roll! The alternative way to listen mainstream and Pinoy indie music, OPM rock, and rap. Handpicked into one great playlist with live and acoustic versions. Plus, featured Tunog Kalye faves. MCBN Radio, 24/7 of the most listened American and British throwback hits from the 70s and 80s. With live broadcast feature and serving as the voice of the community. MCBN TV, live TV programs and mainstream blogs from great entertainment personalities and social media influencers. Download now. Like realtor, investor, business owner. Get this, risk taker. But what I love most is money maker. She deals with professionals, people from real estate business, strategists, specialists, as well as influencers and artists. Learn from her. Get the knowledge you need. Catch the latest trends. Know more about buying your own home. She's definitely the right person for these kinds of discourse and related questions. Kaya ngayong linggo, catch the program Bahay Kubo to Mansion. At sa tulong niya, make your dreams and goals. Live on PinoyRadio.com and MCBN.TV.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in to Bahay Kubo to Mansion. My name is Jesabel de Venecia. I'm the host for Bahay Kubo to Mansion for the next hour. Actually, it's going to be reversed today. A very good friend of mine and my partner will be interviewing me. And I'm a bit nervous because I'm on the other side. So welcome, Bree, my partner in crime on some of my ventures.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Well, this voice might not sound so familiar to every one of you, but I'm your today's host. My name is Brianna Monique Faustino, though that's how I like to be called.
Brianna.
Yes, but in legality, syempre, Ian Jones Faustino. Well, you're in Canada, so might as well use some legal documents. Okay, so I'll be your host. We're going to be talking a lot of fun stuff today. Well, this is still going to be a very informational, type of...
I don't know why I decided to say yes to this. I
Come
know
on.
you said you wanted to do try the radio thing, and I said on a whim, yes, but now I'm all nervous.
Oh my God, don't be so modest. We can do
Okay,
this.
let's
Oh my
start.
God. Okay. So where do we start? I mean, you're the host of this show. Definitely, yes. I mean, you brought in a lot of your business partners in the past past sessions that you've had. But it's time actually to get to know more about Jesabel de Venecia. And that is actually the reason why we're here. We're not just about talking about Jesabel de Venecia as a realtor, but we're actually also going to know Jesabel de Venecia.
I don't know if you want to know.
Below the iceberg theory, because everything that you hear about her right now, about being a realtor, investor, a business owner, moneymaker, a risk taker, I think there's more story about being you, correct?
There's a lot, and some of it are not good.
I mean, so let's get started. Who is Jesabel de Venecia aside from being a realtor?
I'm a mom of two, married,
Yes.
Normal thing, happy, go lucky. But no, in all fairness, we actually migrated here from Toronto, not from Philippines, from Baguio. So I'm
I'm from there
Ilocana.
too.
Oh, and syempre, di napipintas,
Yes.
diba?
Well, that's where the good genes came from.
Yeah.
Mabuhay.
So from the Philippines, and I started my grade 7 here. It was a really, really tough time for me because, back sa Philippines, di ba, I don't even know the neighbors here when we came. We stayed in an apartment, and I remember telling my mom, like, why is everybody's doors locked? Because I don't know the neighbor, but back
Right.
home, you can just go in people's houses
Like
and they're
knock, yes.
like, they're pretty open.
I mean,
Knock.
everyone's neighborly in the Philippines. I mean, siguro kalaro mo pa yung iba doon, your
Yeah.
kapitbahay.
Yeah, so from kindergarten, from kindergarten all the way to grade 6, they were the same friends. So me coming here to a new culture, new language was really, really tough. I had a tough time in high school. But once I found new friends, I was able to,
Venture and
yeah,
kind of
venture.
explore more.
Yeah, so I started working at such a young age. At 15, I was working at McDonald's. That was my favorite job.
Ah,
Yeah, and I love it. I'm still friends with a lot of people that are there. But I remember in high school, I've always had 3 jobs. So,
you're really a hard worker, girl.
yeah, dude, I used to, so I would work at McDonald's, and in the weekend, I know I needed some clothes because I'm a little fashionista then. And I was working at Jacob.
Okay.
And then I also worked at Tip Top Tailors.
Okay.
So it's
that
a
sounds so
men's store.
masculine. Oh, okay.
It's a men's store. I was there in high school, but hey, top salesperson here because
Yay,
it
oh my
was very
God.
easy to sell to men.
Exactly. I mean, men does. You're probably selling suits, so everybody would want
Yeah.
to wear a pair of suits. Definitely.
Not just suits. I can probably sell a suit and maybe 5 different ties and like shirts to one customer. So that was a easy, good job. Then I went to college thinking that I want to be, listening to everybody. You should go to medical school,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. I went to dental school.
How was that for you?
You know what? I tried it. I graduated. I worked in it for like 2 years. And I thought to myself, I'll never amount to anything other than an assistant. Unless I go further and
Yeah.
become like a dentist. I got to go back to university. And then I went to work for Caramella Fine Jewelry.
Okay.
And they were a wholesaler for jewelry. And that's when my love of jewelry started.
So we're talking about diamonds, gold, silver.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
diamonds and gold. So I would do the trade shows and go to New York.
Wow.
But here I am, like 20, 22, 23 years old, like holding a bag full of gold and diamond, like literally $5 million. I'm walking on Times
Wow.
Square.
So you're probably living the life of like Sex in the City. I mean,
No, it's
don't we
all
all
work.
love that? It's all
all
work
work.
related when you're in
It's
New
all
York.
work.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was working here, I was managing the wholesaling business with my boss. She was really nice, but I remember she would go away on buying trips, and it was just me in the office.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you've had a lot of responsibility. At
A
very
lot.
young
It was too
age,
much,
yes.
actually, because that's like millions.
Does it stresses you out sometimes?
Not really.
Especially because you're responsible for like $5 million worth of jewelries.
At times, but no, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay with it. I was very responsible.
So you have diamonds?
I love diamonds. Yes,
Oh
I
my
have a
God.
good collection. I don't wear them,
Okay.
but I just like looking at them.
But is it real that when you own like diamond, like people would really know when you where and when you bought that diamond?
Not really. Some of the diamonds have inscriptions like the GIA numbers, and you can probably find out where it was mined and stuff. But there's, in terms I still do some diamond stuff. This is for
like
my
very
family.
costumed, yes.
Yeah, for my family. If somebody's getting engaged, and I'll help them out because I still have my contacts in
yes.
the wholesale. But yeah, before that, I actually owned a jewelry store, and that was so sad because I had to close it. I was young and dumb at that time. I lost my shirt. Like I still have palpitations when I think about it because you know what? I didn't do any due diligence. I just thought, okay,
Exactly.
well, you know what? I know jewelry. Maybe I'll be good at, opening up my own business. So
Yeah, and
it's
you just kind of like jumped in.
I just jumped
did your
in,
own
put
business.
put my hard-earned money in it, and it didn't do well. And at the time, I was also pregnant. And when I say I'm lucky, it's because when you do a commercial lease, it's very ironclad, so you can't really get out. So
Yeah.
when I decided to close the jewelry store, I was probably about 7 months pregnant, and I was taking the bus home, and I said, okay, I'm going to close the store. So I called the property management, and they said, no, we can't. You can't do it. If you do that, you're going to be in breach. It's going to cost
breach
you
of contract,
millions
yeah.
for another next 4 years.
Oh my God.
just for that lease. So I was hyperventilating
And
in
then
the
we're
bus.
talking
Like,
about you when you were like in your early 20s.
yeah, I was like,
Wow.
I was literally like, I was
You're definitely like
hyperventilating
in
in the, so
shock. Yes.
they thought I was gonna have a baby in the bus.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but
Wow.
then I called my lawyer, and at
Hmm.
the time I couldn't get a hold of him. And then on Monday he called me back and he goes, "Oh, but Jess, you forgot to sign the lease."
Oh, the lease
That's right.
agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
So there's
forgot.
the silver lining.
So he goes, "Jess, I forgot to, I can send it over to you so you can
Hmm.
sign
So you can sign it.
to take over the brand new lease." I was like, "No, I
No,
don't
no,
want
no.
it."
I mean, it's good. Well, thankfully you didn't sign that like, lease agreement.
Yeah, so I was able to get out okay, but still
Hmm.
I lost.
You still owe
Yeah,
to money. Hmm.
I still kind of lost.
I mean, you started at a very young age, and kind of like if you're really starting at the very young age and in business, it's really a trial and error, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't prepared, I don't
Hmm.
think. Yeah, I mean, I did like little business here and there. I'd had like my
Okay.
cousin and I had a shop, like I remember downtown, where the waterfront, when during festivals, we would have our silver jewelry
Silver jewelry, yes.
um, there, and I would sell
Like
like,
a trade show.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Like
And
franchise expo. So
and then
you've been really exposed in a lot of business at a very young age.
yeah, so then after that, when I had the baby, after I had the baby, I went to work for a college,
Okay.
and it's a private college. So I thought after a year, I go, oh, I don't want to work like for somebody else. So I went to my
Hmm.
boss and I said, hey, I think I'm gonna go be an agent
Be an
now.
agent, yeah.
And she was like, okay, I think you'll be good at it. I'll pay for your first 3 months.
For realtor,
Yeah,
for a real estate
for
course.
yeah, no. I think you'll be an agent for the company. I'll be
Oh, okay.
like sending them student. And she said, the owner said, okay, I think you'll be really good at it. So go get yourself an office, and I'll pay
Hmm.
for your first 3 months at office. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, sweet. So we still have that business.
Okay.
It's called Great Expectation, and that's working with local students. And then the
Okay.
other one is um, what's the other one? It's also working with international students.
International.
I'm co-owner. However, I'm just very hands off. So we have meetings every Monday and then Friday just to see what's going
Got it.
on. Yeah.
Okay. So you have that business. Now, how do you tap into real estate?
Well, I first started real estate at such a young age. My very first taste was when I was 19. So I was dating. I started dating. So we were
Okay,
living.
here's the fun stuff.
We were living in a basement. So it's the very first, when my parents first came,
Mhm.
they bought a house and we were living in the basement. And it was a one-bedroom basement. So there's 5 of us in the basement, and then
Okay.
there's upstairs. We were living like that for maybe 2 years. So
Mhm.
then I said, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna start dating soon, and I don't want, like,
You don't want to bring in your
ayoko yung
boyfriend.
magliligaw,
Yes, I
magliligaw
know.
ako pupunta sa basement." So she said, "Well, if you want to, we can purchase a house, but
Okay.
you guys have to, help out." So
Okay.
then they bought another house, which is on 30th Street, and
Mhm.
we still have that. I actually purchased that
Wow.
from them already.
When you
Few
were
years.
19.
When we were 19, when I was 19, we bought the house together,
Okay.
but I was giving them back then like $500, like, just for help, right?
Okay.
Yeah. To
Wow.
help with the mortgage. That was my very first taste. And then my boyfriend and I tried to buy a condo.
Mhm.
And then what happened was we went to the lawyer, and then we showed it to Rod's parents, and they're
Okay.
like, "Oh my gosh, this condo is so small. It's like it's six. Oh no, it's about 750 square feet. It's so small. How can you live like that?"
Mhm.
You know what? It's just, I wish I didn't listen to them, because that was, even the lawyer said that at the
Like
time.
it was a good deal.
Yeah, that was a good deal. It was $180,000, and
Wow.
those are over $1 million now, because
Now,
it's one
yeah.
of those two-story condo. And
Oh.
yeah, it's it's a condo, but it's got the bedrooms
The
upstairs,
bedrooms
and you're like
upstairs,
looking down,
yes.
and they don't make that anymore.
No, you barely see it on the market now.
Yeah, so they don't make that anymore. It's just because they're saying no, don't get it. It's so small,
Mhm.
and I wish I didn't listen, and I should have listened to my guts
Yeah.
and just go for it.
Just go
I'm a
for
more
it,
of a
yes.
risk taker, to be honest.
I mean,
Yeah.
you risk nothing, you gain nothing. When you risk something, there's definitely like
There's risk
opportunities.
all the
Yes,
time. You could be leaving your house. There's always risk. Even
definitely.
inside your own home, there's always
Hmm.
risk. So I'm all for nothing. All or nothing for me.
Okay, perfect. Now, so that is your basically like a little bit of background about her. Now let's talk about real estate. Now, everyone, I strongly suggest you get if you're in Toronto, if you're somewhere in Canada, get your ice cap. You really need it to be caffeinated because this is going to be hefty, a lot of information. So let's talk real estate. Where did you start in real estate?
Yun na nga, with my
With your
parents. Yeah, with
parents,
your
and
parents.
then
And then one day when my daughter was born, we were able to save about $1,000. I
okay,
remember my husband was not even working at the time. He was going to school because he got laid off and he wanted to continue on to become a CPA. So he wasn't working.
okay,
And I said, I have $10,000 I like saved for her and I don't have a job. He doesn't have a job. And I said, but what am I going to do with this
ten thousand.
$10,000? Should I put it in our ESP or
Mm-hmm.
should I put it in a house? So we purchased a house in Cambridge
Okay.
for like 250.
Oh, were you a realtor that time already,
No,
or
I
you were
wasn't a
just?
realtor. And then my realtor, who's so good, was always busy. I always wanted to go check out some houses.
Mhm.
And I said to my husband, you know what? She's always so busy for me. I think I'm just going to go get my own license. This is years later. I'm going to just go get my own license and try to see the houses myself. And then
Right.
from there, it's like, hey, people were like, hey, can you help us find a house? How did you do that? How are you doing that? I'm like, sure, I'll help you. I wasn't intending it to be a career, but
Career, yeah.
thank God I did it because it's really good and it's what I love doing. I
Hmm.
can be
Right.
talking about real estate. I could be out all
Like all
day.
day, like personally knowing you, you talk about real estate. You have this deal coming up.
Yeah,
Like
I
maybe
love
there's
it.
someone that has a lot of money that really wants to do a joint venture. Okay, so there's a lot of topics that we can cover in real estate. Let's start with first time home buyer. I know you because I started as a first time home buyer. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know you back then, back when I was in high school.
You were coming to my
I
information session
know.
and I thought, what am I going to do with this
I was
16
16 when I started,
this
actually. Yes.
16-year-old, and she keeps on coming to my information session. I
Hmm.
can't even sell her anything, but you were just like so diligent in going. You're like,
Yes.
I want to learn. I want to learn. I'm like, okay, if you want to learn, sure.
Definitely. And that was just like one time the week. Okay, so just a little bit more story about me as well is that when I was in high school, I really wanted to be like a lawyer, like in litigation, basically. Like I want to be the one raising questions like objection, your honor, it's a speculation. And like it's just like so fun to hear it. But it's just like when I took like law course, like pre-law courses, like you talk about political science, like introduction to law. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like I'm basically failing the class. Like I couldn't even go through a mock trial. Like I don't know what's gonna be in like opening statement and like closing statement.
You're so young. You're gonna have a lot of different careers, and that's I did
Hmm.
anyways. Now these days, for finding a career, it's not like before where you're staying at your job for 25 years
Oh
and then you
no.
retire. If once you do that, you're considered irrelevant if they look at
Oh,
your
definitely yes.
resume. So I think 2 years at the most on most people now because going from different workplace, different you're taking in more
And
knowledge and
that's how you acquire
experience
skills and
and
kind of like
different
yeah, and then
skills.
you go somewhere where you can contribute that skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, so first time home buyer is that's where I started as well, and that's how I get to know
And how
you.
old were you when you first bought your house?
Okay, when I was 18, I really wanted to purchase a house. But back then I don't have a credit history. So basically I wasn't qualified for anything. So
Yeah.
there's nothing to look at under my name. So I called you when I was 18. I was like, "Hey, I really want to buy a house. I have something saved up and I really want to buy a house." And then you called me and you said, "Okay, fine, we can just go check out some properties." And we did that one showing around Caledonia Road because that's where I
Yeah.
live around that time.
Yeah.
And we went there. We looked at the I think is it a 2 bedroom bath?
I don't remember.
Yes, and that
Yeah.
was kind of like you were talking about this.
Oh, I
Go.
remember on Lawrence.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because that
Yeah.
was like at that time when I was 18. I think that was like 2018, something like
Yeah,
that.
like
And the
300,000.
yeah, 300,000 to 50,000, and you're just talking about like 5% down payment.
Yeah. You ended up buying a townhouse.
I did, and so I just kept going to your information session at that time. So I was in high school, and then thank God, miracle in heaven, it came you just started doing your information session. As you said, it's just your way of giving back to the community, and you were actually the one who inspired me. And so when I was turned 19 and I was promoted my job, well, I work at Tim Hortons for when I was in high school full time as well. And then before I graduated, they asked me if I'm willing to take on some responsibilities, and I said yes. And then the higher pay comes in, and then I came to you and was like, "Oh, hey, I think I'm ready." So that's when we started house searching. I got pre-approved, and we bought a townhouse when I was 19.
Right. You know what I love about you? You actually do listen.
I
so
do.
some people don't listen.
Right.
Like they think they know. It's important that you need to listen to people who have
Experience,
who is
definitely,
in the
yes.
actual who's in the actual
Business,
game,
yes.
who's realtors, lawyers, your mortgage brokers,
Agents, brokers, yes.
So it's important that you listen. And you and your sister, you guys actually were like listening. And so after a year and a half, I'm like, it's time to sell.
It's time to sell. Yeah, I came to you and I was like, "How's the market doing?" Because that was like during
I'm like,
the
now, sell now.
like during the peak, like the houses when
Yeah.
everyone's like outbidding everybody else, like an $800 worth of home, like everyone's buying it for like 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's ridiculous that people would go that far just to get a property,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they try to sell it 6 months later, it actually went down.
Yeah.
So there's no equity in there.
Well, you were fortunate. Like I said, okay, time to sell now. You need to fix the floors, do some paintings,
Yes.
and you were like, where am I gonna get the money? I'm like, oh, don't worry, we have a contractor.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is how you should get some money, so that 10,000 or 20,000 that you
20,000,
put in,
yes.
it equates to over 50,000.
Exactly.
Right. So, chin chin chin. How much did you guys sell that for, and how much did you make in
Am
that
I
one
allowed to
house?
say it? Oh my god.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so we actually bought the property for around 470,000. So 5% down payment and everything else included, like closing cost. I think we just were able to spend 45 grand. And then we put in 20 grand in renovation. So that let's say 470 a year, and 6 months later we were able to sold it for like 647. And you were the one who sold it, right?
Yeah. So you made 150.
Yes, I did.
20-year-old making 150,000 on his
Yes.
first home.
Definitely.
And I said to you, I go, right now it's not good time, but you need to do something with your money.
Exactly.
I said, why don't you start private
Private
lending?
lending, yes. So that's how I got access to private lending. Like private lending, it comes in different ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, because
You're
it's
like, Ate Jess, how do you do that? Okay, so call this person. I have this deal.
Yeah.
There's this. So, I mean, that's a good way for you to earn extra
like
passive
income. Yes.
because we're not buying at the moment. Like, if you're not going to
It's like
use
it's
your
so
money.
hard to buy at
Yeah.
that time, yes, because like interest is so high. The price of houses, it's not, it hasn't come down yet.
It hasn't.
Yeah,
not
but it's
it,
just like-
it has, but
yeah.
not by much as what people are
And the
saying.
stress test, it's just, they put up the stress, it's like 8%.
Yeah, because they add 2% on top of that. So
Okay.
I think we're gonna go on break.
Yes, we still have a lot to tackle, but we'll be right back. So stay tuned, grab your ice cap, and yeah, see you later.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Action Honda, where car ownership is made easy. Located at 4334 Kingston Road, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Kumusta kabayan? Ito si Rafael Nebres, General Manager ng Action Honda. Para makatipid, mapabilis, pagbili ng Honda sasakyan, kami laging may paraan. Laging may sales events at promotion tama sa iyong kakayahan. Please call us at 416-281-1234, 416-281-1234. Bibili ka o hindi, it's always my pleasure to talk to our kababayan. Mabuhay!
The Traveling Filipino Festival is back. Canada Fiesta Extravaganza Year 2023 in giving our kababayans and other race and ethnicity as well a taste of Pinoy culture, tradition, entertainment, a variety of foodie goodies, and a bunch of souvenirs na tatak Noy P. Well, join us for the Canada Fiesta Extravaganza 6 years strong, an event that unites the Filipino community together, bringing the experience to Toronto, Vaughan, Niagara, Hamilton, Montreal, and now in Surrey, British Columbia, and Miramichi, New Brunswick. This year's celebration of the Filipino heritage is like Miramichi, and let me use the phrase, it's more than you ever expected and never less than you can imagine. Join us this year in a whole enchilada of Pinoy Fiesta treats. It's epic. Canada Fiesta Extravaganza 2023. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Caregivers, unite! Your show is here. ATC. Ito tayong mga caregivers. Caregivers na nasa ibang parte ng ating mundo o nasa Canada mismo. Sama ka na sa palatuntunang tutugon sa iyong mga hinaing. Sasagot sa mga isyong bumabagabag sa inyong damdamin. Pag-uusapan ang mga temang napapanahon at mga hamon sa buhay ng mga caregivers ng kasalukuyang panahon. ATC. Kasama ang inyong ating Ate V Pagaduan. Heard the name Jesabel de Venecia? The lady is into a lot, like realtor, investor, business owner. Get this, risk taker. But what I love most is money maker. She deals with professionals, people from real estate business, strategists, specialists, as well as influencers and artists. Learn from her. Get the knowledge you need. Catch the latest trends. Know more about buying your own home. She's definitely the right person for these kinds of discourse and related questions. Kaya ngayong linggo, catch the program Bahay Kubo to Mansion. At sa tulong niya, make your dreams and goals. Live on PinoyRadio.com and MCBN.TV.
Welcome back to Bahay Kubo to Mansion. Thank you, Bree, for
Hosting your
interviewing
show.
me.
Oh my God. I hope everyone's, listening to this because this is very, very vital, like very important information, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, because we left off a first-time home buyer topic. Okay, so talk about a first-time home buyer.
What do they need?
Like, what do they need? What does it require to be like a first-time home buyer?
Actually, it's not complicated at all. So there is 3 things lang ang kailangan.
Yes.
You just need income,
Okay.
which is your employment,
Yes.
your credit. So, a good credit, 620 and up, 680 is even better,
Yes.
all the way to 800, 900. And then the down payment. But a lot of people will think, oh my gosh, we don't have the down payment. That's the hardest one. Where
Right.
it's actually the easiest. That's where we can help you as
We can come in and
professionals,
help, yes.
where you can get your down payment. There's so much money to go around. There's a lot of money that you can access. For example, like RSPs is one of
Right.
them. There's private lending, line of credit you can even use. You just need to sit down with professionals, either with a real estate agent or because we would know we're not mortgage
Yeah.
brokers, or sit down with mortgage brokers, go to your bank and just talk to them to see how much you can be
Yeah.
pre-approved. A lot of the clients that I do meet, it's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna be approved. They're already selling themselves out.
Yeah.
Where these services are free.
Exactly.
When you go to the bank, they would love to help you. When you
Definitely,
go to a
yes.
mortgage broker, they would love to help you. It's not as if you're paying anything. It's their time, and also your time. So
Exactly.
they want to make sure that they can help you in the best possible light, because it's a process, right? Buying a house. That doesn't mean that you want to buy a house today and I can get your house today.
No, that's
There's
not how it works,
planning
yes.
involved, especially if you don't have the down payment yet. If we may have to clean up your credit.
Yes.
But even so, there's like joint ventures that you can do if you have a bad credit, if you don't have any money. So there's so much strategies in real estate.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's struggles when it comes to first-time home buyers.
It's not it's very easy
Yeah.
actually. Just think of those 3 things.
Like-
oh, I have a home buyer's guide.
Okay.
I have it right here.
Show it.
I don't think I used it. I don't think I used it for you, but
No.
it's like a magazine type version where
Mhm.
there's checklists, there's different steps that's involved. So
Yes.
I would sit down with my potential clients and talk to them about that, or I can send them in a PDF form
Mhm.
if you guys want to just reach out to me so
Yeah.
that you understand what you want, what kind of documents you'll need.
Exactly. Yeah, and as a first time home buyer too, is that it's all about mindset. Like not a lot of people knows about that. When you're buying a property, it's not just because you want to live in it. Like some people would want to do that and just kind of like buy and settle, but
Mhm.
there's also people who wants to buy and kind of like leverage the equity they do have
Oh
on the
yeah,
property.
that's what real estate is
Mm,
all about, right?
yeah.
But a lot of the only difference, really the only difference from an owner to a renter is that they have the fear. Yung mga
Exactly.
marami kasi nilang they have the fear na kung mawawalan ako ng trabaho,
Trabajo.
kukunin na yung yung bahay ko,
Repossessed, yeah.
magre-repossess. Yun ang naririnig nila. Ang
Mhm.
dami-dami mong maintenance, ganun-ganon. But actually, that's not the case. So I have a lot of clients who I tell them, I go, well, if you don't have a job tomorrow and you can't pay for your rent, do you think they're gonna keep you? So it's the same thing. Actually, you're in a better position if you own the house because you can do many house hacks.
Yeah.
Or on top of that, your your equity is going up, and there's even many instances where you can talk to your lender or the bank
Mhm.
and say, listen, I've lost my job.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can pay interest only for X amount of time? Is there, like
Until you
there's
find a job.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a way to mitigate some of these things. You
Mhm.
can talk to them, and if you have enough equity in the house, they might even give you more money that
Okay.
you're expecting just for you to live by until you get yourself settled with a new job.
Yeah.
And of course, they always say, oh, there's maintenance involved. Yes, it's expected. There's maintenance in
Yeah.
in the apartments where you live. Of course, you're not doing maintenance, but you may there's restrictions on if you wanted to renovate, you wanted to even paint. Your neighbors, this is the worst ones. Your neighbors have cockroaches and you
Yeah.
really can't fumigate, or if you want to fumigate or put some stuff to kill them, you may not be allowed.
Yeah. It's like you have to
Or
put in like a
they will
notice.
come. They even if you keep fumigating, but your
And they keep
neighbors,
coming in.
they
Yeah.
just these cockroaches just keep coming in because your
Like what's in your
neighbors,
house?
tenants,
Tenants. What kind of tenants do you
freeloading
have?
tenants.
Okay, so first time home buyers, we talked about it. How do you call this? So they just need employment,
Credit,
credit,
good
and
credit.
then
Yeah,
what else? What's the
and
last one?
the down payment.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah. And for me, it's just like if you're really doing your first time home buying experience, I think I strongly suggest as a person who have done it in the past, it's just like it's better to talk to people that would really encourage you
mhm,
and show you like more of the positive side. I mean,
mhm.
not totally the positive side, but they can also talk to you about like how do you
The
call it? The
downside.
downside as well
Yeah.
that they can explain to you. But they talk to people who knows how to strategize certain things
Mhm, mhm.
that can maybe offer you some alternatives.
Yeah, because it depends on your lifestyle. It
Hmm.
depends on what you're going to be doing. It really all depends on are you willing to travel far? Are you willing just
Hmm.
to stay in Toronto? Are you willing to, what kind of maintenance are you
Right.
willing to be doing to your house?
Exactly.
Like, how much maintenance are you willing to pay? Like, do
Hmm.
you really, some people only really want brand new.
Brand new, yes.
Yeah.
Just do that, not like do anything.
Yeah.
Probably like sell it just as is and still probably make some equity out
Yeah,
of
or
it.
like maybe they want pre-construction,
Hmm.
So it
Okay.
all really depends
Right.
on the client.
Yeah. And as a realtor, of course, is that you really want to encourage your clients. It's because you don't want this to be like very traumatic experience for them.
Yeah. So actually on a weekly basis I get probably one or two calls saying that their transaction has gone bad, and it's because probably they didn't listen properly or they
Hmm.
just jumped in. Most of the
Yes.
time they're blaming the mortgage broker, they're blaming the real estate agent,
Yes.
but it's actually the onus is on you because you need to understand what kind of contract you're dealing
Definitely
with,
yes.
right? So I get like calls like, I paid this much. They really forced me into a private lending. They did this to me. And after listening to them, it's like, well, I think what they did was what was best for you at the time.
Exactly.
And they would not do this unless you actually, it was explained to you and you probably said yes at some
Right.
point. Right?
Okay.
Because they can't do a lot of these paperwork without your acknowledgement and without you saying yes
Exactly.
to certain terms.
So, as a first time home buyer, is that just go to people that really have a lot of experience? Because, when you talk to professionals, they know what goes on the market.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so that is one. I think we've covered first time home buyer, which is one of my favorite because that's basically where
You're
I
not a
started.
first time home buyer anymore.
Not
honey.
anymore, but now.
Oh,
of course.
there's also some with the first time home buyer when they do get the RSPs, like
Okay.
people say they don't have the money, right?
Right.
But they can get up to like 35,000 in a loan. So let's say
Definitely.
you have a mother, a father, a daughter, and a son-in-law. That's 4 people. You can get a loan of up to 35,000, depending on what is their max. So we've done the strategies quite a bit, and so in 90 days you have access to those money. So let's
Yeah.
just say you got 30,000 for all of them. That's $120,000 to use.
Exactly.
You will not be able to save that
Oh,
in
definitely
90
not, no.
days, or even if you started to save that, it will take you years and
Years, yeah.
years. Some people want to say, well, now is not the time. I'm going to save more money for down payment. I'll buy it in 3 years' time. By the time then I have the 20% down, or I have more down payment.
The market has gone up.
Yes.
Like it's different situation. It's,
a-
different.
you don't
scenarios.
know, right? So I would always say now is a good time to buy if you have the money to do it, because it's a long-term play. So if you had saved an extra 50,000 so that your monthly payment goes down by
Okay.
let's say $100, then it's a lose situation for
Definitely
you,
is,
because by
yes.
the time in 5 years that you'd save that 50,000, that house that you're eyeing for at 800 is maybe at 900 now, conservatively, in 5 years.
Definitely.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So we've covered first time homebuyer, but I know there's still people that are kind of like struggling with bad credit. And one of your because I just saw it. I mean, you talk quite a bit more of it about rent to own. Yes.
Okay, so this is for if this is good for investors. This is also good for a buyer slash renter who maybe have a bruised credit, who
Yeah.
is being separated, or who is also moving to the area. They just don't have enough in credit history yet. So and you have an investor who's gonna buy the place. So let's just say, for example, this mostly done outside Toronto, because in Toronto it's just too expensive. So
There's basic restrictions.
yeah,
And stuff like that.
not restriction. It's just too expensive. They won't it won't make it doesn't make sense for an investor.
Exactly.
So the investor would buy a house. Of course, if you were the renter slash future buyer, you would go shopping.
Exactly.
And the mortgage and title is held on by the investor,
Okay.
right? And then the market rent is always higher in rent to own. So let's just say the rent is around $2,000 in the area. Rent to own is always higher because they give you a credit. Now, this credit means it's extra cash flow for the investor.
Got it.
So let's just say the $2,000 rent in the in that area. So in rent to own, it's probably about 2,250 for that rent,
Got it.
2,250, right? So then they'll give you a credit of 3,000. So at the end of the year, you have a credit, which means you have saved up about like $3,000 for
Towards the property.
12 months. And in 3 years' time, you would have saved up $9,000. So, but when you're doing this rent to own, there's also a buyout price, right? So the buyout price is already set. The terms is set. So you're going to buy it in 1 or 2 years. This is the price. Conservatively, you can add, 5%
Right.
each year. So let's just say on the third year, your buyout price is $550. Now, if the market is up, if the market is down, you can't change that. Like the owner can't say, well, this house should be at 650 now, not 550, right?
Wow.
So they have to honor that term.
Agreement, yes.
And there's also a deposit. So the deposit is non-refundable, and so it's anywhere from I've seen 20, I've seen all the way to even 60,000
So it's still
on a
a lot.
deposit. On a deposit, yeah. So I always tell my client, whoever I'm sitting with, and my client has like a deposit of, let's say, 20,000, right? I go, okay, why don't you just buy a house instead of doing a
Exactly.
rent to own? Because I can get you the extra 10, 20,000 more just by waiting for 90 days in an RSPs, right? Or surely you can get that from someone somewhere else,
Exactly.
right? So it just all depends. But I've done rent to owns myself, and to be honest, it's the easiest as an investor because you don't get a lot of calls from the tenants. You don't get any calls. Like the calls you'll get is probably, "Hey Jess, can I change the carpet to
Okay.
hardwood?" Of course, it's like I'll say yes, go
That's
ahead,
because they're going to be the owner very
they're
soon.
going to be the
yes.
owner anyways,
Yeah.
and whatever they put in, their sweat equity, it's going to be
They're going to be the one
for their own
reaping,
benefit.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Reaping the
exactly.
benefits, yes. Okay, so actually, rent to own for me, it's like so much information when it comes to numbers. So that's not something I
I
really
love it. I love
That's
rent
great.
to
Yes,
own.
I mean, you totally understand like the
Yeah.
strategy to it, like the numbers. You really do understand. But it's like for me, it's like rent to own. It's like it's non-existent in my vocabulary right now. Probably if it's really my last resort,
Well,
okay,
what about
fine.
STR, short-term rental? Was that in
Okay.
your vocabulary?
Oh yes, I'd love to talk about short-term rentals. So, what are your short-term rentals, by the way?
So, like in Niagara Falls,
Okay.
right? So, by the way, with short-term rentals,
Mhm.
you have to check with the municipalities.
Okay.
And even like Toronto, for example, some people want to buy, like they'll call me and say, I want to buy a condo and I want to do it as an Airbnb. You have to actually really take a look to see if that condo
Got it.
will allow you to have Airbnb. And most of them don't. Like some of them do, but most of them don't. But like before you start investing in an Airbnb, you should, download some app, take a look at.
Like,
One of them is like AirDNA. There's quite a few there, and you can take a look at their, the occupancy rate
got it.
or the nightly rate to see if that numbers make sense for you. And it's a little bit more work because, for example, with Airbnb, it's all has to do with algorithms.
Oh,
What are
yeah,
your
definitely, yes,
stars?
yeah.
How fast are you getting back to
True.
those wanting to stay there? How, like they really check out all of that.
And people do reviews on Airbnb.
Yeah, they have to. They have like you'll get vice versa. You review them as well.
Yeah,
Who stayed?
I mean, I go
Yeah.
through TikTok and I see a lot of like Airbnb stuff like that. Like people have been
It's
plugging.
you know what? It's actually not as bad. You just need a team. You need a cleaner. You need somebody who is doing the managing your app.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because I was at Niagara Falls and I was showing. And then there was a lady across the street. I think they own the Airbnb, and they go, "Oh, are you Filipino?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm showing this house that's for
Okay.
sale." And she goes, "Oh, I live here. I don't live here, but I Airbnb this house." I said, "Oh," so I started talking to them, and she goes,
Okay.
"Oh my gosh," she goes, "It's so tough. My Airbnb is being managed in UK," and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Okay.
"Oh, because ganito, ganyan." Sabi ko, "Tita, you can download the app by yourself. You can manage it on your own if you only have one." Sabi ko, "You're
Oh.
paying somebody."
Good. Because I know
Yeah.
a lot of people wants to be really hands on to their Airbnbs. Like they really want to do like specific aesthetic. I mean,
You
a lot
do,
of
yeah.
people
It's
now.
all
yeah.
pictures. Like in the
Yes.
Airbnb, it's all pictures. So one of our new projects,
Okay,
actually,
yay.
it's closing in June, and it's a 7-bedroom, 3 washroom in Kissimmee, Florida. So one of the things that as an Airbnb, I guess owner or you need to make it look good, like because the pictures matter. That's
Wow.
what people look at.
Wow.
For furnishings and like yeah.
And you're
that's-
really doing a lot. Like Again, we have okay.
I try.
Yeah, she does a lot, and sometimes I couldn't keep up because I'm also like a partner to you. It's because we also are doing our. I'm not very sure. Yeah, multifamily. Not a lot of people might have not heard multifamily, but multifamily basically is like the apartment that you're living in. If you're paying a rent in an apartment that is considered as multifamily,
Anywhere that's
anywhere,
like
yes,
two,
three
two
units,
doors.
yes,
2 units,
duplex, triplex.
Yeah.
People do a lot of house hacking. They buy duplex out of Toronto. They capitalize from that, and then whatever equity they have, they come into Toronto, and that's when they buy their house here in Toronto. It's because in Toronto,
I've done many of that. Yeah,
because in Toronto,
for
the
some
problem in
clients.
Toronto is that when you're buying, it's so hard to buy in Toronto. But if you can buy without and you're okay with not cash flowing, it's because the appreciation rate is really high. I mean, as an investor, is that you want.
There's definitely appreciation, but it's very hard to cash flow in Toronto. I wouldn't suggest to buy here. But let's talk about your multifamily. Okay, so I just have to say, Brianna is like one of those people who
Oh my
have like,
God.
Ate Jess, I really want to learn how to do this. I want to invest.
I'm
So
always
like,
curious, girl.
She's so curious.
I'm always curious. It's just like, what are you doing? Can you get me into that?
Can I learn? Can
I
I be
learn?
part of your whatever you're doing?
Buntot ako ng bunto. I was like, what are you doing today? Like, I'm off. Okay. Alrighty, we'll take a little break and we'll talk to you more soon about
Brianna's.
multifamily. Yes, my experiences. Alrighty, talk to you soon. Ta-ta.
Okay.
Does it feel like no matter what you try, you're not getting any interviews? We all know the feeling, but don't get discouraged. We know why it's happening, and we have the solution. You need resumes. As a job seeker, you may make the mistake of thinking an application is all about you, your experience, and your accomplishments. Today's reality is that applicant tracking system software, or ATS, is used by most companies to compare keywords from the job description with your resume and determine whether you'll be shortlisted for an interview. With ATS doing the initial sorting, the days of using the same resume for multiple job applications are over. To get on the fast track to a job interview, there are 2 things you'll want to do simultaneously. First, you'll need to apply to every job opening with a customized resume. Second, you'll need to optimize your LinkedIn profile to make it easy for LinkedIn recruiters to find you. LinkedIn is an underutilized treasure trove for job seekers. Over 90% of recruiters today are on LinkedIn, actively looking for candidates. Every minute, 4 people are hired by recruiters on LinkedIn. If your profile isn't optimized correctly, you won't appear in search results when recruiters look for candidates just like you. Managing all of this is a lot, and it may sound difficult. But it doesn't have to be. Start using Resumas. Our AI-based platform makes it easier than ever to customize and optimize everything you need for your job search. Our optimization process reviews your skills against each job description and highlights the required skills in a customized resume. We understand LinkedIn's search algorithms and provide optimized content to update your LinkedIn profile based on your resume and job descriptions. With Resumas, you can build your resume from scratch if you don't have one, customize your resume for each job, optimize your LinkedIn profile for recruiters, and receive daily local job listings so you don't miss any openings. Sign up for Resumas today and get on the fast track to your next job interview.
Are you looking for a place to live stream your next virtual event? MCBN Broadcast Center can help you explore the world of online events. We offer a mid-size green screen room to accommodate your next virtual events, equipped with state-of-the-art broadcast equipment and high-speed fiber internet. Experience a secure and uninterrupted live broadcast during the live stream. MCBN Broadcast Center also offers rental with our own broadcast facility for radio and TV, live streaming programs, and provides you with programming assistance. All these at a reasonable price. Located at 7894 Daffrin Street, Vaughan, Ontario, along Daffrin Street and 407. Give us a call at 905-781-6165 or email us at mcbngroup@gmail.com to book a tour. Heard the name Jesabel de Venecia? The lady is into a lot, like realtor, investor, business owner. Get this, risk taker. But what I love most is money maker. She deals with professionals, people from real estate business, strategists, specialists, as well as influencers and artists. Learn from her. Get the knowledge you need. Catch the latest trends. Know more about buying your own home. She's definitely the right person for these kinds of discourse and related questions. Kaya ngayong linggo, catch the program Bahay Kubo to Mansion. At sa tulong niya, make your dreams and goals. Live on PinoyRadio.com and MCBN.TV.
Welcome back to Bahay Kubo to Mansion. I'm in the hot seat today. Ang hirap pala yung ang trabaho ng guest.
Yes. Oh my God. Is it nerve-wracking?
Yes, it is. Ako nagko-question lang.
I know. It's like hot
I have to think
seat.
about what to say.
Don't worry. It's okay. So we've left off on multifamily.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so multifamily is anywhere from two doors, all the way to, I don't know, 100, 150, 200, right?
Yes.
So you and I are doing a project right
Yes.
now in like a multifamily. It's 5 doors
5
in
Nova Scotia.
in Nova Scotia. That's closing very, very soon. And so actually if people want to learn, I'm more than happy to help and you know,
Yes.
as long as you're willing to do the work. So we open the corp.
That
There's
is
4 of
correct.
us. We open the
Yes.
corp. We're getting the mortgages. You're doing the appraisals.
Yes, we're doing the appraisals. We're analyzing the deal if it'll cash flow.
I don't like to analyze the deals. We have somebody in our team who's
Definitely, yes.
very good at that. But I wish that when I was your age, Bree, somebody was guiding me to, what. And you were saying you didn't even know what an articles of incorporation
I didn't know
was.
anything about articles of incorporation because we just came up with like a partnership. Because I was just like, I'm so eager that it's like I don't have peace if I don't have like a piece of real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So I was
know,
just kind
I
of like,
know.
Jess, what's up? Like where we are right now, like I really want to invest.
Yeah.
Like I just don't want
And
my
then,
money to
and
sit
then there was
there.
a deal that came
And
up.
then
I was like, okay, let's do this. And you're like, I'm willing to learn. I'm like, okay, now you got to contact our accountant. You got
Yes.
to contact our lawyer. You got to contact this mortgage. Need all these papers.
insurance, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about like how the process of like incorporating a corporation or like owning a business at the same time as
Easy
in
lang.
multifamily,
Yeah.
I mean, for the listeners, like very brand new, like just dumb it down a bit for us because we're first time listeners.
You know what? Just so like ours is kind of like a joint venture sort of.
Definitely, yes.
So you'll have to definitely speak to your accountant or your lawyer how to structure the different deals and what are the shares like.
Exactly.
Because everybody has different
roles,
situations and different roles in your corp.
In the corp.
Right? So that's something that you guys as as group or venture as partners,
has to
will have
agree
to talk
on, yeah.
about and agree.
Mhm.
And yeah. It's very easy lang. It sounds it sounds
It sounds
easy
very
to me.
complicated.
It sounds
yes.
easy to me because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So to me, it sounds
I mean, you've done
easy
it all
now.
basically, and I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, show me the
But
ropes.
you know what? You're good because you're like, okay, let me contact the lawyer. Let me contact
Yeah,
the
it's just
accountant.
like I really want to get into it, and sometimes if you really want to get into it, it's just like you have to be very positive.
Yeah, you
It's
have
just
to be
like-
active.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to be very active. And then you gave me the roles, and it was like, okay, contact this
Yeah,
accountant.
this is
Work on our articles of incorporation. Okay, so we're gonna actually walk you through how we did our deal. So how did the deal came
So
out?
first off, in multifamily, it's not a single person. It's very hard to do. So it's very very team oriented.
Yes.
In multifamily. So first you find a deal, and that's when you have the acquisition person.
Acquisition
so
process,
they're
yes.
so they're looking at deals to see if it's good, and what they do is they underwrite the deals, and from there, they probably will put constraints like constraints into the deal, whether it's good or not. So, for example, oh, you said to dumb it down. So, let's say, for example, what if the rent is this? What if the vacancy rate
It's
is
really high.
like it's really high? Paano kung ang interest ay tumaas?
Malulugi ka, girl.
Yeah, tumaas. Or paano kung kailangan mo ng roof? Paano yung
Yeah.
marami talaga.
Yes.
So before na they see one deal to put an offer, marami na silang nakitang deal.
Yeah.
So once may nakitang deal, then they pass it on to another person. Maybe they can take a look to see
Yes.
kung ano yung mga deal na yon, or okay ba talaga. And then I take a look very quickly.
Yes.
Very quickly, kasi there's very different calculations that you can look to see whether this is a good deal or not. But this you have to learn in the process. You have to be doing it.
Exactly.
And there's ways to learn it. I don't know if I can get into it. So then the second part of that is capital raising for
Capital raising,
multifamily.
definitely, yes.
So this is if you're not wanting to use your own money and the private money is coming, or maybe another partners wants to bring in money. So that's the other part. And then the third one is the management, the asset management
yes.
itself. So for example, right now, on Mondays, so my Monday morning is quite busy. So on
Busy.
Mondays, I talk to all the property managers who's managing. Okay, so there's 2 units. It's not being filled. I need you to fill it.
Okay.
This other room or this other room is not filled yet. Or can we send the N4 because this is late? Or maybe the contractors needed more money because, of course, there's always a delay, or maybe there's something that they found like more while they're doing their construction, and also just an up-to-date as to what's going on
Got
on some of our construction properties that are that we're doing.
Got it. So we have acquisition, capital raising, and asset management.
Yeah, those are the 3 basics that you'll be doing if you're in the multifamily. Like I said, I'm not the strongest in the underwriting.
Me neither.
Yeah, so I'm not the strongest in that.
Okay. Me neither. Because
So you want to talk about your deal? So basically, we bought
about our deal.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
what, 400
So our deal was $400,000. That was
for 5-plex.
for 5-plex. Yeah. So we put it in a corporation, and our company is called Mayaman Properties Limited. So
Yeah.
we're acquiring properties basically
Through
that's-
that company.
Through that
Yeah.
company, yes. So walk us through it. So we've had you talk about the 3 fundamentals of multifamily,
Yeah.
which is acquisition, capital raising.
I'm
and
making it
asset
sound
management.
easier
Yeah.
than it is
I mean,
on my...
Now I'm trying to realize it's actually quite easy to put in a corp.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
So, what is like the hardest part when it comes to like multifamily? Do you think that you're good in in acquisition, or you're in
You
like
know what? Actually, probably there's because even in multifamily, there's also GPLP. So like that's a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
But yung very basic na ginagawa natin, for me, the most important is kasi nakikig-joint venture ka, right?
You're right.
It's the people. It's not the numbers. So it's gotta be the people you're partnering with. You have to be in the same boat.
Exactly.
It's same boat, because like I said, I get like calls about their deals went bad, or
Okay.
some people in their partnerships are like walking away or things like that.
Okay. So we don't actually have a lot of time, but I know a lot of the listeners would love to learn more about multifamily, or maybe whatever you can offer, because I
Yeah,
know you do a lot
just-
of business.
Yeah,
You
just shoot me.
Yeah, you just
a
really
DM. Yeah.
You just acquired a new business, which is what's your new business?
It's
Again?
not new.
Okay.
It's called Virtual Talent Management.
There you have it.
It's for it's for virtual assistant. I mean, I've
Okay.
had for 3 years now. I've had my virtual assistant and some other people that we've been helping.
Right.
So we're just ramping up because I get a lot of calls from friends who are in the business. They're like,
Really
I
busy
need,
people.
yeah, I need this to do my social media. I need admin. I need bookkeeping. So they call me and I'm like, okay, fine.
Okay.
This is my other
Okay, so that
baby
is
that
one,
I'm trying
yes.
to scale.
Right.
Is the word.
Okay, so you do a lot of things. Okay, so how do people get in contact with you?
You can contact me on Facebook, Jesabel de Venecia, or my number is 416-704-7480. I mean, it's very public. I might as well
Yeah.
say it.
True.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
in Instagram. Sometimes I put very informative stuff or stupid,
Right.
funny stuff.
Yeah, because for sure there's going to be like a lot of investors that's really interested to tap into multifamily as well, right?
It's very exciting.
It is. I mean, I can
I know you
attest to
like it.
Yes, and I love it. But anyways, we're going to be wrapping up, and I just want to say thank you very much for all the people that tune in to our show today. My name is Brianna, your host, and
Thank you so much for tuning in. This was very tough.
it is.
But I wanted to say a lot more.
It is.
I
1
feel
hour is
like
not
it was
enough.
so short.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Heard the name Jesabel de Venecia? The lady is into a lot, like realtor, investor, business owner, YouTuber, podcaster. Get this, risk taker. But what I love most is money maker. She deals with professionals, people from real estate business, strategists, specialists, as well as influencers and artists. Learn from her. Get the knowledge you need. Catch the latest trends. Know more about buying your own home. She's definitely the right person for these kinds of discourse and related questions. Kaya ngayong linggo, catch the program Bahay Kubo to Mansion. At sa tulong niya, make your dreams and goals. Kung may mga katanungan, i-PM agad on her Facebook page, email at jezebeld@hotmail.com or call direct at 416-704-7480. Bahay Kubo to Mansion, hosted by Jesabel de Venecia, live on PinoyRadio.com and MCBN.TV.